This is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans, with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, and Jason Eidsmoe. We're talking Padres, Chargers, and Aztec sports.
Got to hit it to the right place. And he hits it out to center. Right center. Blackman's got a long way to go. He's still going.
Off the wall.
And it is off the wall. It takes a funny hop. Kemp is rounding second. He's heading to third. And Matt Kemp into third base with a triple and the first cycle in the history of the San Diego Padres.
He will hand it off. Tomlinson plows his way towards the goal line. LaDainian Tomlinson, one step closer to football immortality. Tomlinson has tied the single-season record. And the handoff to Tomlinson. Left side, and he will gallop into the end zone. Charger fans are witnesses to history.
Pope thought about it. Now steps up. And the freshman hits the jumper at the buzzer.
Well, this kid is some prospect. Big time length, big time game.
Pope straight away three. Count it. Malik Pope. Pope off glass and good. On the other end, Joel doesn't miss that one. Shepard alley-oop to Pope. He got up there. Oh, wow.
It's time to let your voice be heard.
Or winning. And they will go for it. The handoff, Freeman didn't get it. He's dumped in the backfield. The Chargers will take over with a chance to win the game. Denzel Perryman did it again. Ready for a win in Atlanta? Let's see if Lambeau can do it. Ball down, ball up, on its way. It is good! The script has been flipped. The season's been saved. Down go the Dirty Birds in Atlanta. Josh Lambeau hit it letter perfect. And with 9:01 left in overtime, it ends.
The script has been flipped.
Love it.
I get chills when I see that. When I hear that, when I see that, oh my God. We are the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for the fans.
By the fans.
I'm Jason Eidsmoe, sitting here next to me via Skype. Justin Smead. How you doing, Justin?
Better after Sunday's win. Definitely, buddy.
Oh my goodness. Now, we got so much. It's so much more fun to talk about Chargers victories. Of
isn't
course.
it great? 2 weeks in a row now.
2 weeks. Two wins is a streak, my friend.
We haven't done this in a while. It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a long time. We beat two winning teams,
good
teams.
Sure.
And I'm going to tell you what, I titled this show, We Figured Out the Secret. And I think the secret is we need to have our meltdown early. Because it seems like every game we have a meltdown,
sure.
Whether it's the end of the third quarter or the end of the game or the fourth quarter, something goes wrong. This time they melted down in the second quarter.
Right.
And we had a streak of plays where we misfielded a kickoff. Griff Whalen misfielded a kickoff,
sure.
and we couldn't. We got really terrible field position, so we gave them the ball in the 50. We threw an interception. Well, that was earlier in the game. And then, of course, we had that horrible time with Joe Barksdale. Just had such a terrible series, and Rivers ended up fumbling the ball, and they returned it for a touchdown. And all of a sudden, you blink, and the Chargers are down. But I'll tell you what, man. The final score being 33-30. Chargers gave up 30 points to the number one offense in football. The Chargers defense didn't really give up those 30 points, though. The offense gave up a touchdown. We gave them the ball back deep in our own territory on that interception. Our defense gave up 1 yard, and they ended up kicking a field goal. They had that other drive of 50 yards because of that bad we had the bad play on the kickoff, and we couldn't move the ball, and we punted the ball to them. And then in the second half, our defense gave up 3 points.
Right.
Second half and overtime. Could you have asked for anything more?
No, and that's, the score wasn't indicative of the way they played. I think at times there's bad luck going on. That interception, Phillip tipped ball, McCluster, you saw it coming, popped in the air, things like that, just fluky things that's happened all year. Just to be honest, it was just things that didn't go our way. And I thought to myself during the time we were down in the game, Jay, I go, here we go again. With just the bad luck, are we going to put ourselves in such a hole that we're not going to be able to climb out? And I thought to myself too, I go, as far as how far do you fall? And I could see them coming back in this game, and I really believe they could. And sure enough, it happened. And what an outstanding win, a team effort all the way around. When the offense needed to step up, they did. When the defense needed to pick it up in the second half, like you alluded to earlier, 3 points in that second half is amazing. That kind of play, you can really see this defense gelling together, loving to play with each other. It's really nice, man. It was such a great win. I was so excited.
A couple things that we talked about. We're going to go over the things that we talked about before the game on the pregame show. Some of the things that we thought would be keys. And one of the things I talked about is I didn't say we needed to stop Julio Jones. We needed to limit him. I said we needed to tackle him. And it's so funny because the first time he got the ball, he dodged a tackle and ran for like 15 or 20 yards.
Exactly.
And I was all irritated. For the most part, they tackled him after he caught the ball.
Yep.
He did have a big game. He had 170, 180 yards, something like that.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what, Tyrell Williams almost matched him yard for yard.
Sure.
Tyrell Williams, as much as, if you watch Twitter, as much as people were getting mad and they're saying, they might want to cover Julio Jones and stuff like that.
They might want to cover Tyrell Williams.
Exactly. Too. I'm sure the Atlanta fans were just as upset with what Tyrell Williams was doing.
They're probably going, who the hell's number 16?
Yes. Is
and
that Ryan Leaf?
Why is he running like a gazelle?
Yes.
Stop that man.
So we weren't able to contain Julio Jones. We kept him out of the end zone, though.
Sure. That's a win in itself, Jay.
Yes, exactly.
He's one of the best receivers in the league, man.
We wanted to limit Devontae Freeman, which we pretty much did.
Not too bad.
Yeah, our run defense was up and down. Yeah, here and there he had some runs, but up and down. Keep them off the field. It was close, but we won the the time possession. I think it was 35 minutes to 30 because of the overtime.
Okay.
So we kind of kept them off the field, but not dramatically. And we said one of the keys is Joey Bosa versus Jake Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Bosa, let me tell you something.
Are you a believer, my friend? Are you a believer?
I'm a believer. Let me tell you something.
Attaboy. I want to hear this.
I need to make sure that I give you the props because when we were all upset, we were irritated. You were irritated with them too, but
Sure.
You kept saying, when this guy plays, you guys are going to be amazed at how good he is. This guy is an animal. And as much as you sold that, I think you undersold it a little bit. This guy is, he's in the first 3 games that he's played, he has 20 quarterback pressures. The most ever for somebody in their first 3 games. He had 2 more sacks. Mm-hmm. He had another 1.5 tackles for loss.
And mind you, there were sacks in these last 3 games that he could have had, and he had a hand on the quarterback, and he didn't get to him, and it woulda, shoulda, coulda, but right in the face of these guys, it's relentless attack by him.
It's game-changing stuff, and I'll tell you what, man, I'm a believer. When it was time for the draft, when they drafted Joey Bosa, I tried to be excited, but I was just like, I wanted kind of them to go maybe Jalen Ramsey.
Right.
Oh my God, that's why I'm not in charge of the draft. This guy is. I know it's hard to not get so excited because it's just.
It's not though, because it's a small sample size, and I know what you're saying because it's so early in his career, but people well-known nationally are giving this guy major kudos and already calling him the real deal, because when you can bull rush like he can and push pockets back, and we've talked about this, and this is what I was most excited about off the edge when I quote unquote watched a film on YouTube, highlights of him dominating tackles. I saw just tremendous power and useful as hands. He would sidestep linemen, and he would get in creases, and he would get to the quarterback. There would be a pure lane for him to get to. It's astounding what he's done in 3 games, Jason. And you just alluded to all those with the 20 pressures and the 4 sacks he's got already. And it's crazy to me. Now, even with all the hype that I brought, I didn't even think he would be this good.
Yeah.
This fast. I just thought he would be a load to handle for an offensive lineman, and he's proving that each week.
Let me tell you, with his skill set, for all of us, and I say us because we were getting frustrated that he wasn't getting out there. We were frustrated that he wasn't signing.
We all were.
We were frustrated with the hamstring.
Sure.
But they played it right. They waited till he was 100% because I'll tell you what, 100% of Joey Bosa is an absolute animal.
Oh, it's crazy. And I'll just bring this up too. It was like so he came back 3 weeks ago of the Raiders. So 3 weeks ago, I think that's right around when Manti went down to the Colts game.
Yeah.
It's like we got 2 instant impact players in Jatavis Brown and Bosa, and it's instantly upgraded the defense. And you can see the play just accentuate. Everybody's feeling it now. It looks like they're just flying all over the field, making tackles, making plays. It's crazy by subtraction. And Manti Te'o, you gain a guy like Brown and you add a guy like Bosa, what it could do for your defense athletically, and in crucial moments of these games, Jay, they're making impact plays. And
I said it on our pregame show. I don't want to talk bad about Manti Te'o because there's no bigger fan of his than me.
Sure, no.
But man, it's hard to say that we have not gotten better since he's gone out. That's
right,
and that's a tough thing for me to actually say because it hurts a little bit because I liked him.
Right.
Josh is trying to join us here. I'm going to see if I can get him to join in here. We'll keep talking while we're waiting for him to come in.
Sure.
Let's move over to the I wanted to start with defense because the defense is the reason why we won this game. But let's go over to the offense. Now, in the pregame show, one of the things we talked about was touchdowns instead of field goals. I think we had a pretty good mix. They did kick some field goals, but we were able to get in there. We were able to knock the ball into the end zone, and we talked about don't come out flat and start strong. And they did. They came out and they drove that ball down the field.
Sure.
They started strong. When was the last time you saw the Chargers coming off, I'm using my air quotes now, a bye, because it wasn't really a bye. It was a mini bye. But when was the last time you saw the Chargers coming in from having some time off and looking as good as they looked?
It's been a while because we're so used to them after a bye kind of laying an egg.
Yes.
So as Charger fans, we're used to that stuff. It was nice. It was refreshing. That's what I'm talking about. This season's kind of different than last. I mean, here we are with 3 wins already. Last year we only had 4 total. It just seems like a different mindset this year, and an attitude about not, being aggressive. Bring the punishment to them.
Yeah.
You see what's going on here, Jay. Though it's healthy offense and defensive lines. That's where the whole NFL starts. Look at our front 3 on defense. Look at the starting 5 on offense. Now, while the offensive line hasn't played perfectly by any stretch of the imagination, it's a way better increase of what we had last year. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's not even debate there because it was just a mess last year, debacle.
Yeah.
But you see what this can do for a football team. And knock on wood, nothing else happens. But, you sit here and you go, wow, this could have been last year too, because really in all hindsight, it just takes – that's where the NFL starts, in the trenches. And these guys are playing good football. And I think it's a mindset now. Addition with Slauson.
Uh-oh. Oh, hold on.
We lost Josh?
Yeah, we lost Josh. We're trying to get Josh in, and it made you cut out too.
No, it's okay. There's an attitude and a presence with these offensive defensive line. Matt Slauson, Brandon Mebane. You can tell it's a huge difference on this team, and it makes a huge difference on the field of play. It's translating to wins. It's translating to wins now.
One of the things you talked about with the offensive line, of course they're not playing perfect. Melvin Gordon, he earned a lot of those yards that he got.
Sure.
But one thing that you notice different between last year and this year, our offense works best with crossing patterns. The crossing patterns work really well for us. Couldn't do it last year because Rivers didn't have the time. Crossing patterns take a while to develop.
Yep.
He's getting the time to do it. And,
Yes,
people can scream out on the other side, why aren't they covering that? It's very, very difficult to cover those plays. And if you can get your offensive line to just give you that time, they can do amazing things. So as much as I'd like to see the run game a little bit better, that's another thing we talked about was ball control with Melvin Gordon. They did not get away from the run. They still kept doing it, and they weren't he wasn't getting knocked back for losses. He wasn't getting, but he was only getting 1, 2, 3
1
yards.
yard, 2 yards, yes.
But at least he was hitting the line. You know, I
Sure.
keep saying that. Last year, he couldn't even get to the line.
No, he's getting stuff in the backfield each time.
Another thing that we talked about was Antonio Gates and Griff Whalen on third down. We were hoping to see Whalen maybe he did make a catch, actually. It wasn't on third down. Antonio Gates was a roller coaster. He had some really, really big catches. He had a fourth down catch. He had some third down catches. He dropped a couple balls. He dropped a big ball. But I'm going to tell you this. In hindsight, dropping that ball was probably good for us because if we scored a touchdown there, they would have had more time. And then all of a sudden, they end up driving down. Who knows? Maybe they come back and win that game. So it might have been luck for us that he actually dropped that ball. But have you been... You know, Antonio Gates, it seems like the only play that has working so far this year is he takes 2 or 3 steps, catches the ball, and falls down.
Yeah.
You know? And
it's troubling a little bit to me. I know Charger fans don't want to see this, and this is unfortunately the start of the decline, I think. And I hate to say that. I really hate to say that because I'm one of the biggest Antonio Gates fans you'll ever meet. I love the guy. But dude, coming up with huge clutch catches like he always has, and then having spurts of just that game-winning catch. You know, he's caught that a million times.
Yes.
Touchdown San Diego, game over. We don't even worry about field goals. It's just weird to see him dropping some of these easy plays. But that's going to happen. You know, later in his career, he's not going to be as reliable as he used to be. But I still love him. He's still an impact player. He still demands attention on the field because of what he can do and box guys out for easy 4 or 5 yard gains. So yeah, I mean, it's. I hate seeing the decline.
I tell you what, I think that he's suffering a little bit from the hamstring still, and he's not a spring chicken anymore either. But I do think we're going to get that 100-yard game out of him still this year. That we're going to get that big monster game where everybody's going to go, he's still got it. You know, I think we're going to get that.
I hope so.
What was the other thing that I wanted to say offensively? We talked about Phillip Rivers being able to handle the Seahawks cover 3 style that Atlanta ran, and I think he was able to handle it just fine. You know, he did fumble the ball that one time. You know, not his fault. You know, we talked about the meltdown and Joe Barksdale. Let me just say, I don't dislike him at all. I like him. He was the one stick of glue we had last year of an offensive line that was just in and out and just played bad. He was the one consistent. Was he the greatest offensive lineman? No. But at least he was going to be out there last night. He had one of the worst series I've ever seen where he got bull rushed, gave up a sack. He had false starts. He had a guy run around him like he was a turnstile, and he gave up the sack that produced the fumble. But just like everybody else, next series was a new series. He came in there and he played just fine. You know, he just had a very, very, very bad series, which was unfortunate. But it was, I guess, the good thing was he was able to come back and you know, and he was able to not give up. You know.
Sure.
Players of the game. I can't believe that we've spent this long talking and we haven't even mentioned Denzel Perryman, really. I don't know if you're old enough to remember when the Chargers played against Miami and Kellen Winslow looked like he had given every single ounce that he had for the Chargers to win, and it looked like the same thing from Denzel Perryman. It seemed like he was down on the ground almost after every single play.
Right.
And even when he stayed in the game, it seemed like it took him a little bit extra long to get up. And let me ask you this. Did you ever think that we would get a game-changing play out of him with an interception?
No, not in a coverage type deal like that. I thought maybe a jarring hit. You know, we've all come to kind of love these last 2 seasons, his impactful hits and jarring the ball loose, forcing turnovers. But one thing he needed to improve on this year, going into this year, was his coverage ability, because that's what Manti Te'o had over him. That's what he needed to focus on. And last year he was a liability in some coverages because he wasn't in the right spots, you could tell. But this season, obviously, that coverage interception off Matt Ryan, one of the better quarterbacks in football, to read, to react, and go into Julio Jones, I might add. It was a poorly thrown ball, but to make the play, he's a shorter linebacker.
Yes.
To bring the ball in, go down, not do anything stupid, get that turnover, get Phillip back on the field. What a play, and what play overall from him and the rest of that defense. They played their hearts out, and especially number 52.
The recognition on that play was amazing because that was not his guy, and he peeled off of his guy and was able to peel off his guy and get over to where Julio Jones was, which he knew that Julio Jones was kind of trying to force it. He was trying to force the ball to Julio Jones all night long, and it was just incredible to see the difference between Denzel Perryman last year and the Denzel Perryman this year. And part of that's because he kind of got forced into the lineup a little bit last year, which was probably good for all of us.
I think too, Jay, and I know a lot of Charger fans, and I've talked to a lot of people. I was equally probably excited about Denzel Perryman as was Joey Bosa when we drafted Denzel. I absolutely loved his quote unquote tape that I watched.
Yeah.
And he epitomizes what intensity is, and he fires you up with his play. He makes game changing hits, and he's such a sure tackler that you love a guy that flies around the field like that. And it's just cool to see him and Brown paired together because they're just all over the flipping place. It's been really nice to see Perriman step up his game in the last few games.
Yes, and we see it kind of looks like Jatavis Brown is kind of copying what he did last year.
Exactly.
We're 21 minutes into the show, and we finally are able to bring in the OG San Diego Sports Junkie. That would be Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor.
What's up?
We're talking about Denzel Perryman. What were your overall thoughts on the game that guy had?
Unbelievable. I mean, you could tell he was dealing with an injury all game. He'd go in, he'd make a couple plays, he'd come out. I don't know if it was something with his back. He looked like he was stretching quite a bit in the sideline.
I think.
Work something out, but he'd come back in, he'd make a couple more plays, come out, do some more stretching, and made the plays when it mattered most. Obviously that stop, late in the fourth quarter that actually got us the ball back, or in overtime, I should say, that got us the ball back so we can win the game. Obviously, he's been a force, but I think he's been a force because of Brown and Bosa being on the field has kind of helped him out a lot. Bosa's getting triple teams and allowing Perryman and whatnot to, really go to work.
Yeah, not defeat. Welcome, Josh. I miss you, buddy. You look
Thanks,
good
brother.
as ever. Look at that. That's cool. Nice hairdo and everything. Anyway, I wanted to piggyback off what Josh is saying because it's so true. I mean, you get a mix of guys now making plays, but I'll ask you guys this. 2 years ago, would you ever thought we'd be a 4th and 1 and you had to say, rely on our defense? Would you say yes or no that they're going to make a 4th and 1 stop? Not in chance in hell, because we used to get bullied around the last 2 or 3 years. This year, it's all changed. There's an attitude like we just talked about and a presence about this D-line, these linebackers. The way Denzel shedded a block, got into the crease,
just knifed right in there.
Knew where Devontae Freeman was going to be was outstanding football. And to grab him by the ankles right away and let the cavalry come in and clean it up, it was just like it brought a smile to me. I was so overwhelmed with joy because we haven't seen this, guys. We, as Charger fans, we used to love Sean Merriman and Sean Phillips and Jamal, and I don't need to go back to the heyday, but
Junior,
it's starting to look like that again, though. It's starting to look like that again.
Yeah.
Well, and it's resembling some of that again. And I don't think we're there yet, but I think it's resembling. And God knows what would happen if we still had Jason Verrett. I mean, this defense can be so good. And it gave me such a I was overjoyed when I saw a play like that, because here's the game on the line, right? Dan Quinn said after the game, head coach of the Falcons, he says, why'd I go for it? Well, I trusted my offensive line. We've been going for it all year. Right. I stay aggressive. We thought we could pick up a yard. And when you think you can do something against a defense and you call that play, that's almost like a slap in the face to the D-line. They went out and stuffed his ass and said, "F you. We're taking the ball now. We're going to go score the damn football." And it was just like this sense of joy came over. I'm sure everybody was elated, but God, it was so nice to see, man.
I want to give, by the way, a big F-you to all of the fans out there that are always screaming about, I like coaches that coach a bit more conservative. All of those asshole fans out there that are always screaming to go for it and to be aggressive and stuff, those are the same fans that are second-guessing when he went for it on fourth down, and those are the same fans that are screaming in the fourth quarter, why are they throwing the ball when they have the lead? Those are the same dickheads who scream when they don't win that they weren't aggressive enough. And
Jason's on fire.
Yeah, so I just say you guys need to all shut up because that coach did what all of you want him to do. That's the type of coaching you all want.
Go for it. And then when he doesn't go for it, why'd you go for it?
Exactly. So I heard so many people second guessing that, and I'm thinking it's just so easy. All these second guessers out there, when it doesn't work, they second guess, and I just get so tired of it.
I'm in agreement with you.
Me personally, if I was the coach of the Falcons, which I'm not, I would have punted there because I play a little bit more aggressive. I play a little bit more conservative. But there's so many dickheads out there that want you to go for it all the time, and then when you do and don't make it, they like to complain. And so
But that's it. Your life of a head coach in the NFL, you're going to get contradicted either way.
If it doesn't work, you're going to get second guessed.
Sure.
I personally think the Atlanta Falcons were in a lose-lose situation there anyways, because if they punt the ball to the Chargers, the way the offenses looked, we're going to march down the field, kick a field goal, and win anyways.
Yeah, so I agree. They were in a lose-lose situation.
That's what Dan Quinn said. He goes, I don't know if I wanted to give the ball back to Phillip. That entered my mind several times. So it's, that's how it goes. And when Phillip Rivers is your quarterback and he has a history of fourth quarter comebacks, you're gonna second guess yourself all the time as a head coach.
And the Chargers,
his mind.
And the Chargers were rolling. And
they were moving the ball.
Atlanta has the number one offense in all of football, so you'd think that maybe he's going to have a little bit of faith in them.
Sure.
Real quickly to our predictions. I predicted the Chargers would win 31-20. Much closer than that, so I wasn't quite right. Justin predicted the Chargers would win 52-45. While he had the score a little closer, he was a little bit high.
I thought it'd be high scoring.
David Drogemeyer, who's been joining us this year, we want to thank him for joining us on all of our pregame shows. He was the closest. He had the Chargers winning 28-24. Nice. Not quite on there, but he was a little bit closer. I had Melvin Gordon with 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. I had too many yards, but not enough touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns. Justin had Hunter Henry with 3 touchdowns. Now, Hunter Henry, ended up he had a decent game, but he got hurt. But it looks like he's actually been practicing this week, and there's a good chance of him coming back. And David had Ingram and Bosa combining for 7 sacks, which was a little bit crazy. I also did say my crazy prediction was Dexter McCluster returning a kick for a touchdown, which
I just so you know, I wasn't part of the prediction show, but I do have it, and I can show you here. I don't know if you can see it, but I have Josh has 38-35.
Holy shit!
Pretty
Josh,
close.
You got to start joining us in those pregame shows, and you can get that stuff on record. But that's awesome. That was really close. You were able to watch the whole game, or did you have to work?
No, I didn't watch the whole game. We had to watch it via Red Zone, and so obviously the last half of it, I was able to watch the entire, I'd say, last half of the fourth quarter and overtime because all the other games had already concluded by that point.
Yeah.
Good news is this week they are televising the Chargers-Denver game, so I'll be able to watch 100% of that one.
And, that's nice.
No excuses,
I don't know
dude.
what you guys
no excuses. Get DirecTV. Stop it.
Give me the $450 to cancel, and I will. So
just get Red Zone.
That's what he did. Yeah, he was watching Red Zone.
I don't know if you guys talked about it at the beginning of the show or not, but we're at a turning point here this week, in my opinion. We were 1-4. We got to face the Denver Broncos twice and mix the Atlanta Falcons in the middle of that conversation. We're pretty much staring at our season right there, boys. We've now taken 2 out of 3 of those games, And I believe, and this is my opinion, I think we're even better now than when we played Denver 2 weeks ago because of the confidence factor rolling into this week's game.
I'd love to. I love that comment because when we said 2 weeks ago, or after the Denver win, I said this, and I'm not taking credit or tooting. I'm proud to say that the momentum factor has played a role. You could see confidence in an Atlanta game. When you're losing, and you're losing like the Chargers have been this year, it's got to be devastating on your heart, your soul, your effort. You think you're working hard to try to get some wins, and you get devastating losses. When you start stringing these wins together with the guys they have on this team that they believe it. They believe they're going to win. They believe in Phillip Rivers. They believe if they give Phillip Rivers time to throw the ball, he's going to do great things with the football. They believe in getting pressure now. John Pagano's got these guys playing all over the field, bringing mixed package blitzes. They're confident in calling all these because they know they're going to get to the quarterback now. It's just a crazy confidence boost when you beat teams like this, especially on the road, guys. When's the last time we had a big win on the road like Atlanta?
Yeah.
When they're the best team in one of the best teams in football, and they go in and do that. The big M, dude, the big Mo, the momentum is a huge factor. And going into Denver, I couldn't be more confident with our San Diego Chargers.
Well, since we don't have Jake Hefner with us today, I do want to be the polar opposite of Jake Hefner right now and make a prediction.
Okay.
If the Chargers win this Sunday in Denver, that they win the division.
Yeah, you had tweeted out, or you had posted an article on our Facebook page about how the Chargers were the best team in the AFC West, and I'm going to tell you what I tweeted out. I agree with it. I was 2 weeks ago talking about how I think that this team is a good team still. We've had some fluky things happen. They've made some major mistakes, but they've been smoking every team that they played, and I'm going to tell you what we were destroying Denver. That game was not close, and at the end, a bunch of weird, fluky shit happened that made them bring it back and bring it close. But we were smoking them, and we are a better team now. Go, Justin.
Not to interrupt. When you look at the Chargers, what do we always say? And we haven't been able to do this. You gotta stop the run, which we are now in the top 10.
Right.
How long has it been since we've been in the top 10 in run defense? Can you guys guess?
It's got
1937.
Yeah.
It's been a long time
since Jamal Williams.
Exactly. So when you look at things like that and you go, wow, okay, what do teams want to establish? They want to establish the run.
Right.
Today C.J. Anderson's been ruled out of this game with huge blow to the Denver defense.
Yeah.
He might be out for 4 to 5 weeks even. So huge blow to their the confidence just keeps rising when you hear stuff like this, right? So you stop the run. Chargers have been very, very, I'd say solid in that area. Not they give up gash runs at
They get gashed every once in a while, but they've been, if we compare last year to this year,
yes,
a million times better. We see problems, but God, so much better.
Yeah, and then the other side to that coin is then you got to run the football. In crucial times this year, like the Melvin Gordon bounce off his own man, run to the outside for another 12, 13 yards, those kinds of runs we've been doing, and he's been productive. He's been getting touchdowns. So when you can run the football and stop the run, they've been doing a great job in those areas at crucial moments. So biggest factor for the Chargers this season.
Totally agree. And going into this game, stopping the run is the key. And we stopped the run with our offense and forcing their rookie quarterback to try to beat this team. It's not going to happen. If we stop the run, boys, it's going to be a blowout. I'm going to tell you right now. The Chargers are going to completely dominate this game as long as we can rattle up the rushing game.
I'm happy you brought up Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon had 56 yards, I think. I don't have the number in front of me.
Nothing special.
3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 receiving. But have you ever – I don't know if he made 2 big runs in that game. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of them was on 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. Right. He got stuffed at the line, did not give up, bounced it out and took it for about 15 yards. And
just pure speed and athleticism.
Yes, just did not give up. Didn't get hit and fall to the ground. He decided I need to get this first
Which
down.
last year he would have pushed forward and probably got tackled. It's
Exactly.
just a difference from him last year.
Exactly. Much more confidence. And then I think it was a 4th down run where he took the ball and he dove over the line, which was him saying,
awesome.
I am selling out. We need this first down, and I'm going for it. Now, there's a dickhead that works at ESPN who decided that he wanted to first of all, only people who are allowed to talk about, if you want to say bad anything about Melvin Gordon, you got to be a Charger fan. Anybody outside San Diego can go suck it.
Or Tomlinson.
Yes.
Or Danian. He could say that.
Yeah, he can say whatever he wants.
Right.
As disappointing, and you can talk about the 2 fumbles that Melvin Gordon has this year being at big, crucial times, but I can't think of a time ever when somebody fumbled a ball and I went, oh, that's okay. This is not a bad time. It's always a crucial time, and it always sucks. But I can't think of any team in all of football that would not take 10 touchdowns and 2 fumbles from their running back. So, Trey Wingo, you can eat a dick, buddy.
And that 10 touchdowns leads the NFL, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. People that bash like that, and there's another guy too that was knocking. And we're getting a little off track here, but no, I saw another guy on Twitter, one of these ESPN experts, knocking Joey Bosa. He's not the real.
How?
Look. He goes, not the real deal yet. Everybody just pump the brakes. This and that. Too small of a sample size. Don't give him too much credit. And it's like, okay, but he's doing it every week for you, and he's proving it to you. So it's funny how people will hate on teams when the San Diego Chargers, they're not a big deal to anybody. So they want to hate on San Diego all the time.
One thing I want to add to the Joey Bosa situation, I watched a little video today. I think I posted it on Facebook. I don't know. But they showed Joey Bosa against the Atlanta Falcons. You realize there was 5 occasions, not 1, 5 occasions that Joey Bosa was triple teamed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still...
Tell me that he's not a force. You tell me they're not worried about him when they're tripling teaming him. It turned into 3 sacks, boys. It turned into 3 sacks because they're taking 3 guys to try to stop him from getting to the quarterback.
And that's exactly it. I would love to finish the game in Denver, have Joey Bosa play from beginning to end, and have no sacks, no tackles, nothing, because that means that they dedicated so much to stop him that other guys are making plays. Because if you leave him one-on-one, there's no way you're going to shut him out. There's no way. Obviously 3 games is too small of a sample size. We're not sending him to Canton, Ohio right now. But we're excited because he's playing well. If we don't ever get another play out of him, he will be a forgotten man because he hasn't played long enough, and I get that. But how can we not be excited what we're getting out of him?
People trying to piss on our parade, and it's okay, but we haven't had a player like this in years. So of course a fan base is going to be excited about their first-round draft pick, number 3 overall, and finally getting on the field and dominating their opponent.
We never get instant production out of anybody. We always have to wait. Even, Jason Verrett was hurt. We had to wait for the second year. Everybody, we have to wait for Melvin Gordon's having a good year. Had to wait for the second year. We don't get instant production ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and let's be honest, we didn't get instant production out of him anyways because he missed the first 4 games. With that said, there's another statistic on Joey Bosa. He is in the top 10 in the NFL in quarterback hurries, and he's only played 3 games, boys.
Yeah.
So if we have Joey Bosa for a full season, he's going to be leading the NFL in quarterback hurries.
Yeah.
So I don't know what other statistic you would want off of somebody that plays on the line.
I mean, he's already in the conversation of rookie of the year candidate just because of the way he's been playing. And like what is telling you or what is telling anybody that the production is going to stop? Anybody?
Right.
No. Anybody have a response?
Injury's the only thing.
Sure. But
injury's the only thing.
Knock on wood, please, guys. Jesus, don't say shit like that.
Go ahead and start scheming against him. Start scheming him. I remember when they schemed against Sean Merriman and they started to shut him out. Guess what happened? Louis Castillo started making plays.
Look at the opponent he's done this against.
Yes.
It's not like the Raiders have one of the biggest lines in football, by the way, boys. The Broncos are the Super Bowl champions. I don't care who's at quarterback. They still got a lot of talented players on that side.
Right.
He crushed them. Then he goes to Atlanta, they keep Matt Ryan upright over there. They keep him his jersey clean. So for him to be doing the things he's doing, there needs to be recognition for Joey Bosa, and I'm tired of people pissing on the Chargers parade. Go after yourselves.
I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to come back on the other side, and I want to ask you guys if there's any if you guys have any. There's a few things that I'm a little bit worried about, and I want to see if they're worries for you guys. We'll be back on the other side here.
Be worried.
Calling all podcasters. Have you ever wanted your voice to be heard? Do you need help expanding your audience? Are you curious just how far your show could reach? Well, look no further. We are New Media Radio Network, the premier podcast streaming network. Let us take your show to the next level. For more information, check out our website, www.newmediaradio.net.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
It is so fun to hear that song after a victory,
Dude,
boys.
I don't think people understand how important that song is to us as men and grown men
Yes.
that love their football team. Like, I get chills when I hear it in the stadium when we score. I love that. I love that disco theme.
I mean, and I like the other songs too. They've done, they got the POD song, and
awesome.
which is awesome. But there's just something about that original song, which is
I don't
just
think there's many songs that compete with that.
no.
As like a team song, because
No.
that's just so vintage.
That Go Cubs Go song's kind of cool if you're a Cubs fan.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But,
I'm not a Cubs fan.
But I'm not a Cubs fan.
Go
So.
after yourself, Darren.
Yeah.
Darren. Hey, yeah.
Did the
Good
Cubs
luck
win?
in
Is the game
World
over yet? By the way, Cubs are
they're
winning.
winning.
5-1 still.
5-1.
5-1. That one's over. Okay. Here's a couple things that I want to ask you guys if you're a little bit concerned about. I was going to save this for last, but I want to save it. I want to jump up to the beginning here. Kyron Reed got a knee injury, and he ended up going out for the game.
The guy that picked up a fumble and against
yeah, he's actually been quite a good contributor
took it to
for
the
us
house
this
for
year.
a touchdown. Just Kyron Reed.
Here's the thing. The second that happened, Twitter starts exploding with the Chargers need a new training staff. The Chargers, the training staff sucks. We need to change all that. And I've been as big of a proponent of at least looking at that, but I'm looking at the injuries this year. First of all, Denzel Perryman blasted into his knee, and his knee bent backwards. I don't care how much you could have the best training staff on earth. There's nobody that's going to get somebody's knee prepared for that, Right, so if you have complaints about the training staff, let's at least steer them towards the right things. My complaints were when we would get injuries, it seemed like 3-week injuries turned into 6-week injuries. Other teams would get their guys back, and we couldn't get our guys back. But when you're talking about tearing tendons and tearing ligaments, I don't think there's a whole lot of training staff can do about that. You can't strengthen a tendon, you can't strengthen a ligament. They're just there. So I think that they need to pick and choose, when they want to get mad at the training staff. And I think when somebody gets their knee bent backwards and tears something, that's not the right time. Are you concerned about the training staff at all with the injuries, Josh?
No, and I think I have a solution to our problem. So I love
turn off Twitter during the game.
Are you gonna stretch the players out before the game?
I love my wife, and her fantasy team is struggling big time.
Yeah.
About every player that she's had on her roster goes down with a ACL injury. So I told her from now on, from this point forward, you have to pick up
Did she change
Raiders,
her name to ACL?
Broncos players.
Yeah.
Raiders, Chiefs, and Broncos players for the rest of the year.
Load her team up.
That's my theory.
Please.
So it's your wife's fault then.
She picked up Hunter Henry, and he goes down with an injury this week. I'm like, get him off your roster.
Why was Hunter Henry on the free agent market? That's terrible. That's what
kind
of league is this?
8-team league, there's good players still hanging around.
Oh, my gosh.
Justin, are you worried about our training staff? Do you think that these injuries are because of them, or do you think it's a fluky thing?
No, I don't worry. I don't lose sleep over the training staff, Jason. I think that when people say that, they're misguided. I think because it's not their fault. They stretch as good as they can stretch during the games and during practices. They have to. They know what's going on. They know the injury problem that we have. It's just I call it fluky. I think it's the flukiest thing I've ever seen in my life with this team and the injuries that we've had. Let's just pray to God and knock on some wood that we don't have any more major injuries this year because we can't sustain more. I firmly believe that.
No, we've got 2 seasons worth of injuries in the first half of the season. We can't have any more.
And that's what I mean. And that kind of goes to my point early on in the show. When is finally something good going to happen for the Chargers? They're going to win a game like this, and they did. So maybe the injury thing is the same way. Maybe the injury gods won't frown upon us in the second half, and we can have a healthy second half.
Yeah.
As far as the injuries are concerned, the trade deadline is coming up in the NFL. Do you think we make any moves?
No. I'm not a big fan of trading during the season for football because it's not like baseball where you can trade a guy and plug him in the very next day. You have systems you need to learn, and it takes a long time before a guy can settle in. Unless you can trade for somebody who has previously been in that type of a system, I think that it's too much. It's too much to ask, at least for an impact guy.
Can we get a guy that can handle punt returns?
That's my next point. I'm so happy you said that.
Anybody? Can we just get anybody that can catch the ball and go forward with it? That'd be fun.
I wanted to talk about special teams. Are you concerned? The only thing that's going well with special teams is Josh Lambo took some vitamin S in the off season, and he is blasting. It's not like he's just getting them into the end zone. He's blasting them through the back of the end zone. And I say keep doing that because our coverage team is so bad. I don't want to see them have a chance to return them. I don't mind them starting on the 25 every time. Blast him through. He's leading the league in touchbacks. Part of that is because we're scoring a lot of points, so he has a lot of opportunities. But it seems like everything goes through the back of the end zone. But kickoff returns, I have yet to see us return a ball past the 25. I think we've got it to the 25 before. Never passed, usually short. Griff Whalen made a horrible decision on that kickoff where he didn't get over the ball, and then he kind of
he caught what Travis Benjamin had.
Yeah, and Travis Benjamin all year. Our biggest gripe with him is not catching. First of all, he was muffing the ball, but when he wouldn't muff it.
Did you see how pissed off Philip Rivers was?
Yes.
Oh
he was so pissed off at Griff Whalen.
Bad Philip, what are you doing, you moron?
Yes.
Get away from the football. Well, catch the football for one. Don't
catch it, or at least be there in case if it bounces weird. But that ball was heading out of bounds. And then Kevin Benjamin was not. Travis Benjamin was not catching the ball, and the ball was bouncing, and we were getting terrible field position. From now on, if the ball gets kicked into the end zone, catch it and down it. And if you're punt returning it, just fucking fair catch it, for crying out loud. I don't need any more mistakes.
I have a solution to this problem. Put Kenny Wiggins back there, and then when he catches it, just have him take a knee.
If he catches it.
He'll catch it. I feel more trustworthy with Kenny Wiggins back there than I do anybody else. Just even if he takes a hit, what's going to happen? Yeah. They're going to bounce off of him.
I don't know. I'm worried about special teams. The special teams has to get better. I'm sure they're addressing it, but they have to be. The special teams is costing us a lot this season between terrible punts, missed holds,
let's let Dexter McCluster do all of it. And I'd rather just see him do the whole gamut. I want him to see him punt returns, kick returns. And if he F's it up, then he F's it up. But I think he would be the best choice to full-time role.
You are acting like we actually pre-gamed and had a talk before this, because that was my next person I was going to talk about.
I was like, why the hell is Griff Whalen back there anyway?
Let's roll into Dexter McCluster. I'm a little disappointed that he's not being used as much as he could be. Offensively, he tipped that ball into an interception from Rivers. It was not a great throw.
No, it was high.
That was a 50-50. Everybody blamed him. I don't think he was 100%. He could have maybe caught it, but those quick balls that are high and behind you are tough.
Sure.
So let's just make that a 50-50 ball. He basically was not even on the. He got one more ball for -1 yards, and we never saw him again that game. He's not returning kicks. I'm a little bit disappointed. Now, do you think he hasn't grasped the offense as much as we would have hoped? Because he just doesn't seem to be getting on the field. Go, Justin.
I think it's the scheme. I think it's a scheme, and I think we're going to see an impact from him. But you are right. I mean, literally, he's been here, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, I want to say, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. The guy is learning still. He is learning the offense. I get that. And I guess they trust more, and it kind of shows you what they believe in Melvin Gordon with. They're trusting him more with big time roles, third downs. I'd even like to see more Kenny Farrow. I like McCluster, and I think you're right. We talked about this pregame show. Line him up in the slot, and we liked a little bit of what Griff Whalen provided as a speed little wide receiver that can get you 5-6 yards on a quick out route. Or that's what McCluster can do for you. But at times, McCluster can hit that big home run with a screen pass. If you can catch the defense on their heels and deliver a screen to McCluster here and there, big chunks of yardage can really happen for this team. So I definitely agree with you, Jay. I think too, it's a product of just the game plan and the scheming with what Ken Whisenhunt wants to do.
Josh, your thoughts on Dexter McCluster? Is he being underutilized, or do you think that maybe he hasn't quite grasped it and the best out of him is yet to come, or do you think we're just going to get what we've gotten already from him?
I think it's a little both. I think it's been underutilized, but I still think he's getting his feet wet in our schemes. The one thing you can't teach is talent, and he's oozing talent. He always has. He's got the ability to make people miss in the open field, and I agree with what Justin said. I think we need to get him out there in maybe a slot position, get him some space to roam. Maybe you get him in a screen situation, a wide receiver screen situation, get some blocking, and let him do his thing. I mean, the guy's been a proven offensive weapon over the years. I mean, look what he did in Kansas City. He used to give us fits when he was in Kansas City.
Yes.
And so I think we just need to utilize him a little bit more and get him into open space.
And then also to just piggyback off you, and we were talking about crossing routes earlier.
Yeah.
Phillips had time to do his crossing routes this year, and it's been great. They've worked out really good for us. This kid can fly across the field. As long as he's not getting picked or drilled, he gets through the mess, the carnage there in the middle of the field. He could be a huge weapon picking up 20, 30 yards in chunks. And I think that's what Josh is trying to say too. He could be a commodity for us down the road. I think as the season goes on, he gets more comfortable, we're going to see a lot more Dexter McCluster.
I sure hope you're right. And I'll tell you what, there's no way he's going to replace Danny Woodhead, because Danny Woodhead was such a big, large part of this offense. But when that happened, it was the perfect person that was available to bring into that position.
Sure.
But I got to remind everybody of one thing. He was without a team, and there's a reason why he wasn't playing. He was released, and maybe we don't understand. Maybe there's other things going on. Maybe he's not able to, grasp.
The pass protection might be an issue. Because Danny Woodhead was a very good recognizing pass and blitzing. Very
good.
Even though he would get mauled, but he would put his body in front of everybody. Exactly. He'd just pick the guy. Maybe Dexter hasn't shown enough in practice or in games that he can take on a linebacker one-on-one or anybody else, even a DB, because he's a small man. Hey, let's not get it twisted here. Dexter McCluster is a petite little guy with athleticism. So maybe that's what's going on with Dex.
I hope so. I hope that that's part of it. I hope but I hope it's not an inability to block the linebacker, and I'm hoping that it's more of a not quite grasping his job on each play, because the Chargers have always asked a lot of their their running backs in passing situations. That's one of the reasons why Gordon wasn't finding the field last year, because he was not able to grasp the pass protection.
It's night and day from last year when Phillips kicking Melvin Gordon off the field.
Yes.
And this year he's loving every minute of Melvin Gordon on the field. So it's funny how that works.
Well, I got a surprise for you both. We got Mike Maciejewski, the Phillip Rivers hater.
Hater in the house
on the line, the
and
Charger
the
hater. After we've been sitting here just glowing about the last two games, it's time for Mike Maciejewski to snap us back to reality. Mikey, how's it going, man?
It's going good, man. I'm glad I missed the love fest there.
And you know what's funny is for the whole, we haven't even talked. You know, I know that you and Hal hates. I don't know why, but Hal hates Phillip Rivers. I think, just like Hal so much that you jump on board with that. I think that's the thing. I think your love of Hal is clouding your Phillip Rivers judgment. But
Hal's a great guy.
Oh,
I don't know why you even badmouth him.
I wouldn't badmouth Hal. I love Hal. I love Hal almost as much as Hal hates Rivers. That's how much I love him.
Impossible. I don't think you love your kids that much.
We're 55 minutes into this love fest, and we haven't even talked about Phillip Rivers because the things that he does, we just expect it. Let's get your opinion here. Well, the Chargers have won 2 games in a row. They've beat 2 pretty good teams. Is this a sign that the season's turned around, or do you need to see more?
No, I think it has. I think really it comes down really, and it comes down to the defense. It comes down to Bosa actually putting that pressure that we've been searching for. And I mean, it's the only thing I can think of. Like, not much has changed. We've lost better players during that time, but the one addition has been Bosa. And I'm just wondering if Travis still selling that jersey for $1 because I want to buy it now.
Oh, that's right.
You guys know? Anybody know he's still selling the jersey for $1?
That's right. Travis had the Bosa jersey. He was so mad that he was going to sell it for $1.
Giving discounts, dog.
Yeah, I'm sure he could. I'm sure he could get quite a bit more for $1. At the beginning of the program, one of the things that we've decided is we figured out the secret to the Chargers' success. That is, they need to melt down early. All the other games, they seem to melt down in the fourth quarter and lose. This time, we melted down in the second quarter, and we gave ourselves enough time to come back. Is that the key, maybe? We need to start making our mistakes and just do it early enough where we can come back, or what? Because they had quite the meltdown in that second quarter and got themselves into a big hole.
Who are you asking?
I'm asking Mike Maciejewski.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I just think, I don't know about that. I just really felt like, the touchdowns that, outside of the Tevin Coleman touchdown, I thought the touchdowns that the Falcons did score, especially that first one with Tammy, I mean, those were just like great plays, and there was really nothing you could do. But I don't feel like the Chargers really got outplayed, in that second half. So I just think they just really adjusted. They adjusted well. And I think when you're always, when you're behind, as a team that's behind, it's always easier to adjust because the team that's winning, really, they don't need to adjust anything.
They don't want to change anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But
that's a good point.
Chance to adjust to them. So, it's. I think they adjusted well at half, and then the second half, the Falcons couldn't change their strategy, and it cost them the game.
Yeah, that's Mikey. I don't want to gloss over that point because we've never really made that before. I've never even heard that before. Everybody bitches and complains about, because the Chargers have been leading at the half, and all the other teams come out and they make the halftime adjustments. They come out and they start to come back, and everybody always says, well, the Chargers aren't making the proper adjustments. It's tough to make adjustments when everything's going right. What do you do, And,
sure.
and we actually had an opportunity to do that, Justin. Have you? I've never even, I don't listen to the Talk Radio during the week, so I don't know if it's ever been said. I've never even heard that. That's such a good point. Do you agree with that, Justin?
That's why we bring top-notch talent on this show, like Michael Maciejewski, AztecsHoopsNation.com, and you can read his articles there. By the way, November 3rd is when the Aztecs kick off their basketball season. Back to Mikey's point, I have never heard something, because you don't really bring that up. The opposing team that's losing, the losing team has to make the adjustments to fix whatever they're doing because they're losing. the winning team's going to keep doing what works, right? So that makes a lot of sense, and it just never has been presented that way. I agree, though. I think the Chargers said, we just had a little misfortune here. We've had some bad turnovers. I don't think it was anything that they weren't doing correctly. I just think it was something that they needed to just keep the pedal to the metal and not turn the ball over and do the things they've been doing all season, sticking with the run like you alluded to earlier in this, even though it wasn't working at times, Jay, still giving the illusion that they're going to run. But Phillip was passing all over that defense, and it wasn't even funny. They were moving the ball at a rapid rate. But no, I agree. I think for the Chargers, it's just let's continue to do this. Things will bounce our way, and we'll get back in this football game, and they did.
Mikey, the Chargers beat the Denver Broncos a couple weeks ago. The Chargers are playing the Denver Broncos this week. Is this Chargers team, I know it's only been a couple weeks, the same team, or do you think that they're better than the team that played Denver last time?
I think it might be a little bit better. I mean, again, the pressure that's coming, that's the biggest thing, guys. I mean, you know me, I've been harping on the defensive line forever, and you got to get that pressure, and the pressure's gotten better. And
here we are now. Here we are. How do you like the defensive pressure? It looks fucking awesome.
Exactly. Look at it does wonders for you. Because I was again, I last night, NFL Replay was on there showing the Charger game, and I just saw how many times Matt Ryan had to get rid of the ball, and Trevor Siemian's no Matt Ryan. He's a decent player, but he's definitely no Matt Ryan. So
it's encouraging.
Everything set up for the Chargers to do this again. I mean,
yes.
I'm not 100% sold. I got to watch a little bit more. We've seen them play against two very, very good teams, and I don't know. I'm encouraged. I'm very encouraged.
Yes.
And
I think the word's encouraged.
You
got to be happy with their play, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And like I said, I'm just cautious. You know me.
Yeah.
Cautious.
Yep. It's like a show me.
We don't want to be jumping extremes here, but I am encouraged about the play.
I'm going to go ahead and transition here. A couple things here. For those of you listening, we appreciate everybody who's listening live. You can be listening live on Spreaker.com, but if you're not, there's all sorts of ways to listen to us. You can listen to us on Spreaker, on iHeartRadio, on iTunes, on TuneIn, and on Stitcher. And I want to invite everybody to join us, of course, Sunday morning from 9 to 10. We're going to be doing the pregame show for the Broncos like we do every Sunday when the Chargers are playing. So we're going to talk about the actual Chargers and Broncos game. Then we're going to get really in-depth. We're going to make our predictions. It's a lot of fun. Let's transition to some Aztecs. Mikey, of course, he's the owner. He's the head writer. He's the producer. He's the whatever you want to El Presidente of AztecsHoopsNation.com.
CEO.
The CEO, the CFO, the whatever you want to call it.
The Jefe.
Let's talk about the Aztecs football team first. I know basketball's coming up, and that's what everybody gets most excited for, but this football team is pretty damn good. They did lose to Southwest North Alabama State, whatever, 2 years in a row now.
Agriculture and tuning.
Yes, which is such a bummer because
it sucks.
It does suck.
It turned me off for the rest of the year. I was so pissed, but I still watch. I got so sick to my stomach.
One of the things that when they're they're doing the press conference and the head coach is out there and he says, who out there was saying that if we don't go undefeated, this is considered a bad season, Of course we were hoping that they were going to go undefeated.
New Year's Day Bowl, bitches. That's all I wanted in life, and I can't have anything nice
we were hoping,
ever.
And we were looking and saying they should be favored in every single game, but to go undefeated is damn near impossible.
I want to be in the Fiesta Bowl, bitches.
You're not going to be in the Fiesta Bowl.
Because we can't have nice things in San Diego, ever. We can't have anything. No Final Fours, nothing.
There was a prediction that they'd be in the Cotton Bowl, though, recently from CBS Sports.
Yeah, what do you
take your Cotton Bowl
there was.
Up? I want New Year's Day Bowl, bitch.
What's the thoughts on the bowl situation, Mikey? First of all, there's a lot of games left to play. They still have to win those games, but let's just assume that they're going to win the rest of their games this year. What's our best case scenario, ranking-wise and bowl-wise?
Well, I mean, the ranking thing hurts. I mean, you see Boise State. We were ahead of Boise State, and they haven't lost, and they're like at 14 now. So we'd be like sniffing the top 10 right now if we hadn't lost. But like Josh just said, Jerry Palm did predict the Aztecs in the Cotton Bowl, which is a New Year's Day bowl, which is the the big money bowl, which would be huge for the program. We're talking like $16 million going just to San Diego State to play in that game.
Wow.
And that's if they beat Boise State in the game in the Mountain West Championship.
We don't want to go to the Cotton Bowl. That's stupid.
Yes, we do.
You have to. It's the best bowl we can get.
I wanted the Rose Bowl, bitch.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It's not
I
a
didn't
rotation
I didn't mean to call you guys bitches.
No,
I'm so mad that they lost this. They had to beat South Alabama. Like, come on.
They lost the game they should have won. We know that.
Come on. You want a bigger payday? Then you beat South Alabama.
But
Yikes, guys.
Essentially, I see Justin's point. I just don't think they could have done it because we would have never got voted in the top 4.
Yeah.
You know, to make that you're talking playoff, you know, and that's not happening for San Diego State because of their schedule.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, you still can get the ultimate goal, which is that huge payday, Cotton Bowl, and again, they have to go undefeated and they have to beat Boise State and get just a tiny smidge of help by Navy losing somewhere on the road to the playoff.
None of this happens, of course, if they lose another game, though.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And just remember that Cotton Bowl, that would be like 27 straight Holiday Bowls. That's how big the Cotton Bowl is.
Yeah.
Holiday Bowl sucks.
So, Aztecs hired a new AD there, Mike?
Yes.
Wicker.
Can't remember his first 2 names. He's got 2 first names, but it's Wicker.
John David
Wicker, thank you. And, you know, he used to work here as an assistant AD.
He's
you
a
know,
country boy.
he worked, I believe, at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
If I'm correct. He's at Georgia Tech as an assistant AD there. So he came back and he came out and said, you know, his number 1 priority is to get that stadium for football. You know, that's step 1. And I think that's step 1 in his plan on trying to get San Diego State into a Power 5 conference.
That's the next thing I was going to say is what's the priority to get him into a better conference?
It has to be the top 2.
Yeah.
Has to be. You have to. I mean, this gap between power conferences and non-power conferences is widening every year. And eventually, that gap is going to be way too much for any non-Power 5 conference to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to
Justin,
take
how
over
important
the world.
is that? How important is that for them to get into a better conference?
Oh, it's huge, Mike. You just said it. You have to be, if you want to be considered a serious player in the NCAA football spectrum, you know, basketball is different. You can win a national title being, you know, South Missouri State. I mean, in football, you can't even get invited to the dance unless you're, you know, Power 5. So football is a whole totally different ball game. Mikey alluded to that, but yeah, you have to get into the conversation, and I think they've tried, and they've kind of spun their wheels a little bit with the whole Big 12 thing,
right?
Or big in the Big East, I think too as well. But yeah, it's different. You have to, as an AD, as the athletic director, you're going to have to take this now. You know what? Jim Sterk left here was he was in a great position.
Yeah.
All the sports programs are doing fantastic. So what he needs to do is build on that and not downgrade. Don't do anything stupid, but get yourself into that conversation, as Mikey was saying.
Joshy, how you know, transitioning from football to basketball. Basketball's coming up, and I know you're a huge Aztecs hoops fan. How excited are you for the season to start, and what are you looking forward to the most this year?
Well, first and foremost, I'm sure you guys, or at least Mikey and Justin, has heard of this. The Maui Invitational was just released, in the number of teams that are going there, Jason. So let me just throw this out there.
It's nasty.
So
2018.
Arizona, Auburn, Duke, Gonzaga, Illinois, Iowa State, San Diego State, and Xavier are going to be in the Maui Invitational. Talk about an opportunity for the Aztecs to really put themselves on the map. We're not talking about, you know, being just a really good West Coast team. We're about to face up against the big boys on the East Coast and see if we can stand up to the challenge.
You know,
love it all.
I went and visited my dad a couple of weeks ago, and he really likes Aztec basketball. He's been a big fan back when they really stunk. He was still a big fan, and you know, one thing he was telling me is everything that he's hearing about the Aztecs basketball team this year is they're looking really good and they can shoot the ball. Is he hearing correctly, Mikey?
Yeah, we're hearing the same thing. Can I just really quick before I jump on that, I want to touch on on Josh's point about the Maui.
Okay.
You're talking. This is 3 quality non-conference games. I mean, all 8 of those.
All of them. Yes.
Are top 50 teams.
How many of them are we playing on the deck of a ship?
Stop it.
0.
Or on a baseball field. Knock it off.
Yeah. No. None. But no. I just want to point that out. That's 3 quality games right there in 2018.
Dude, you ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying.
I mean, so.
Well, you look for strength of schedule, and that's it right there.
Yeah, but no, I'm hearing the same thing. I'm hearing the offense is coming along better. Honestly, guys, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, completely with all the listeners too. The biggest worry, injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries. These guys, there's a lot of lingering injuries.
Yeah, I hear a lot about that.
I think it's going to be tough because you want guys to gel, and we have that early game against Gonzaga. But it's going to be tough with so many guys missing time right now and missing a lot of little nicks and
we're gonna wreck their
nicks and pains here. So
we're gonna run them off the court in their own house, Mikey, and it's gonna be hilarious.
But you are hearing correctly. You guys are hearing correctly. The shooting is coming around really well, and it's going to be interesting. They're going to hopefully score some more points. Well, they're going to score some more points. Hopefully, the defense can stay the same.
I have November 14th circled on my flipping calendar, dog.
And be careful when you say shooting, okay? There's a lot of people that are nervous with that comment.
I'm telling you.
Another thing that my dad brought up to me was Malik Pope. He had been into the NBA camps. He, obviously knew that he had a little bit more work to do. And he's talking about how he has come back to the Aztecs as a completely different player, looking much more aggressive, taking more of I don't want to say a leadership role, but we only saw little flashes of what he can do, and I think that he's got a lot more confidence in how he's going to play, and he got that from going to those NBA basketball camps. What's your thoughts on that, Justin?
My thoughts are Malik Pope should be one of the best players in the country this year, with an enthusiasm to show people that he can do this. And I think he bulked up in the offseason. He's got a good weight program. He looks a little thicker, which is great. This is the kind of player you want on this basketball team. This is the guy that can put you over the top. And then this is the guy that can get you past the Sweet 16s and all that kind of.
We lost Justin. If the only thing that it was going to take for Malik Pope to get better was to bulk up and get a little thicker, he could have given me a call. I could have helped him out with that.
What about? Am I back on, guys?
You're back on. Go ahead, Justin.
No, I just to finish my comment. Bulked up, good to go. But that's the kind of guy you need to get you over the hump to go to a Sweet 16 or more. I'm not saying or predicting that. I'm just saying these are the type of players. And this is the kid that can do it for you, along with the great mix of backcourt and front court. It's ridiculous, the athleticism on this basketball team this year, guys. So very excited about Aztec basketball.
For the record, Justin has guaranteed Sweet 16. Okay, go ahead, Josh.
I heard it here.
You heard it here first.
To further on Malik Pope, what I really want to see out of him this year, I want to see him dominate from 14 feet in. I want to see him dominate in the post and dominate in the paint. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see him posting up for threes. If we got shooters, let them shoot. He needs to dominate from 14 feet in if the Aztecs are going to be successful.
All right, Mikey, we've all got a chance to talk about Malik Pope. Now let's hear it from the expert.
No, I mean, Pope's got to show, same thing. I'm not going to give him a pass. He's got to show me that he's going to be consistent. Consistency is key.
Consistent.
And, exactly. and I mean, we talked last year. We talked about how this team was flat, how there was no effort last year. That can't happen this year. This team needs to, from day one, needs to be ready. They have a big matchup against Gonzaga in the third game of the season. It has to be clicking if this team's going to go where they want them to go. And Malik Pope is going to be one of those guys leading that because really, last year you knew Winston Shepard was a leader. But Trey Kell is stepping up, but he's not a vocal guy. He's not one of those vocal guys. So
right.
Who is that guy?
We're going to have to this is going to have a myself and Mikey and all of us are going to have to do. I know football is full swing and we're doing better. We're going to have a huge Aztec preview show. Not huge, but we're going to have to do a 45 to an hour maybe me and Mikey and Josh and and we just need to just break it all down. It's gonna be fun.
I agree.
But I think the talent, because we're not gonna have a ton of time tonight, but as far as just what I'm most excited, and let me just give you this, most excited about this season, and this is me personally, just an Aztec fan. Mikey knows me. I'm as passionate as anybody. I love this team, but I'm so freaking excited about Trey Kell and Jeremy Hemsley this year. They're probably the top in a top 10 in the nation in backcourts. To me, just my opinion, personal opinion. The way Kell can shoot and the way Jeremy distributes and penetrates, drives, feeds people, gets to the bucket. So that alone, those two guys, I'm just very, very excited about.
Larry Joe's in the chat room just joined us. He said he's predicting when it's all said and done, the Aztecs will be a top 10 team making a serious run to the Final Four. That would be awesome. I love
what Larry Joe's
that.
Smoking. I love it.
I love it. Is that too pie in the sky, Mike? I need you to step back for just a second because I know you have your professional site and you're a professional guy, but you do love those Aztecs and you do love the Aztecs hoops. Is that possible? Is it possible for them to be top 10 this season, making it to the Final Four, or is that just a little bit too much of a reach?
I mean, anything's possible. It's going to be really tough. I have them at least going back to the Sweet 16. That's where I'm going at. I'm kind of with Justin there because I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of pieces that we were not sure of. I mean, Trey Kell doing well. Jeremy Hemsley's going to do well. But how well are they going to do? How well? Who else going to step up? Is Malik Pope going to step up with that consistency?
Techie.
You're hearing. Yeah, you got Techie. You're hearing, good things about Xylan. Doing well.
That's my boy. That's my new favorite guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Xylan Cheatham, baby.
So, I mean, you don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting, but I'm hoping. I'm hoping. And, I know Larry Joe. I was actually talking to him earlier today. And, definitely big-time Aztec fan. And I mean, it's not a possibility. I mean, you saw Syracuse make the Final Four last year, and they barely got into the tournament. So, this team has the athleticism, has the talent to make that run, and it's very possible.
I just want to bring up one thing, and it's so nice, and I think we're just spoiled now. But I've never remembered a time, and I can go back to last year and the year before, but the last 5-6 years of Aztec basketball, I've been so hyped on not just guys that are starting, but guys coming off the bench, guys that we're going to have about 12 deep this year. And it's not even a question. And it's stupid to even think that way because as Aztec fans, on the early days when people actually watched this team and they struggled and they weren't very good, they didn't have anybody you could actually claim and go, wow, that guy's going to be very good and this and that. It's cool to go down the roster and go, that guy could be an immediate impact off the bench. That guy could do this. This guy could do that. It's crazy the limitless potential of this whole entire roster this year, guys. So that's the fun part for me, and I dig that, and I geek out on that kind of stuff. It's really fun.
Go ahead, Josh.
Xylan Cheatham, he's Malik Pope 2.0. I believe that this guy has such incredible talent. He's a ball hawk. He finds a way to get to the ball and put it in the hoop on a regular basis. But I think he's way more athletic even than Pope is. And that's hard to say because I was a huge, not Pope.
Shepherd.
Huh?
Shepherd?
No. Who was our sixth man that had the heart attack or whatever on the court?
Dwayne
Jamal.
Dwayne
Polee 2.0. My apologies. Dwayne Polee 2.0. And I think he's a lot more athletic than Dwayne Polee and can dominate a little more than Dwayne Polee could.
I liked Xylan Cheatham at the beginning of the season. I thought that he started strong. I think he faded a little bit last year. I'm looking for Xylan Cheatham to leap from last year to this year like Trey Kell did from year 1 to year 2, because there was such an improvement from Trey Kell, who started out strong his first year, faded a little bit, and the second year he really, at one point he was really the only guy that we could look to score, and I'm looking for Cheatham to kind of take on that kind of make that type of a leak this year. Go ahead, Josh.
This is for Mikey and Justin. and I don't know this guy very well, and you guys are going to have to help me out here, but we got a transfer this year, which they're saying is going to be like the transfer of the year. Can you guys give me a little more insight on this individual?
You want to go, Mikey, or you?
No, you go for it. Go ahead.
Okay, well, Valentine Azundu, if I even said that right? He is so. I think it's so underrated. This guy, he's not gonna bring what Sky brought as far as just a pure shot blocker. He can do multiple things. What I found out, and I've done a little poking, so remember when Chol, when he used to piss you off, he'd get the ball in the lane and he'd fumble it around and he wouldn't go up strong.
He's my boy, but he did have stone hands.
Sure. This kid is a little better with that aspect. He can catch the ball. He's a little more athletic inside the post. He's going to bring a presence to the Aztecs that we haven't really had in a while. And as far as Sky he wasn't a big time scorer for us down low. He was really just a rim protector. So Valentine Azundu will be a factor this year, and he should start. But who knows what the lineup will look like? He might even come off the bench. It's scary, the size of this team that we have on this. It's stupid. He's 6'10", 6'11". It's stupid. It's dumb. All of it's stupid.
Mikey, give us your thoughts on him and tell us how to say his name right.
I actually thought we're going to think of a different guy, and that's the crazy thing. I thought you were talking about Montague Gil-Cesar, which is Techie.
Thank you. That's who I was trying to think of.
Yeah. So Techie.
Oh shit! I thought you meant no. My bad. I was thinking of just the one transfer, but Techie went in so early that
the one from Mizzou.
Yeah. He's right.
Mikey, take this guy.
So you got Montague Gil-Cesar, which is coming from Missouri, transfer sophomore. Redshirt sophomore. He was a top 50 prospect coming out of high school. Went to Missouri, followed his coach. Missouri's been bombing there in basketball, and he got hurt his back. Wasn't the same ever since. Came here, had some injury issues last year as well. Had to get some surgery, and he's a big guard. Like he's got a big body. He's a good shooter. He can get to the lane, create a shot. All those things you look for in a guard. And on top of that, he's just, he's the kind of guy that's not going to get bodied out. He's not a finesse guy. He's athletic, but he has that, I like to call it East Coast style. Likes to bang it in there and use his body and draw contact. So, he could be amazing. I mean, when we got him, I was hyped. I was so excited to get this guy. And because he was looking at going to Oregon and. Came here, and he's also nicked up right now. But I mean, if he can get healthy, we're looking at a guy who's going to do really, really well and could be top 3 scorer for this team.
And not to go crazy, Max Holtzel from Indiana, another transfer. And I for some reason I blanked on transfers, but kid can he can flat out shoot. So there's a lot of layers to this pizza, man. So you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot of fun to see how they gel, like every year is, because we don't know who's actually going to play the minutes that they need to play. And like I said, we can do a show down the road, probably here in a week or so, and get that squared away.
One more question for Mikey and Justin. How are we going to be behind the arc with the current guys that we have? How are we going to be from 3-point land? Are we better than last year? Are we BYU status? Where are we looking at behind the arc?
Go ahead, Mikey.
Well,
does Jimmer have a year of eligibility back? Maybe we can get him to transfer.
Like
we're definitely not going to be BYU. We're not going to shoot it up from 3 points that much as they do. But the one thing we are going to probably see a lot more of is a 3-point shot, and a higher percentage of it coming from like Justin said, Max Holtzel. You have Trey Kell, obviously Jeremy Hensley, as well as Gil-Cesar, Techie, and Shriggs. Yeah, excuse me, Shriggs. So you got a bunch of guys.
Shrigley's this is like 7th year of eligibility.
Yeah,
seems like he's played forever.
He's off in the shuffle a little bit.
He's 32 years old.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Who? I'm sorry, Josh.
Shrigley's getting lost in the shuffle a little bit.
I think early on you're going to see him a lot, especially
defensively.
Guys being nicked up. But he's from what we're hearing is that his knee's better, his knee's fine, and he's back to how he was before he got injured. from the ACL tear, and you should see a much better Matt Strigley. So again, the options are just limitless here, it seems like, and you got to think 8 of these guys are going to come through.
Right.
You know, so you have a lot of options. You got Takari Allen too, who can shoot the three, who's much improved shot, will be, you know, useful. So there's a lot of options.
Lots of options.
A couple things from Larry Joe in the chat room. He says he's looking forward to Techie to be a go-to player later when times later in the game when we need a scorer. He's very low-key, so I agree. I'm looking for him to be a presence off the bench until he earns a starting job. And then he also says a lot better from the threes from last year, but yeah, not like BYU. He's also excited to see Nolan Narain with his size to see where he's going to fit on the court. That's somebody we haven't spoken about. One thing that I do foresee this year, and that is the team, the starting guys and the guys that are rotated in at the beginning of the season are going to be completely different than the guys at the end. I think that we're going to be surprised. The starting 5 towards the end of the season, when they actually are really getting their flow in, getting ready to make the tournament, we're going to be going, man, remember at the beginning of the year these were the starting 5. Now look who it is. I think it's going to be a completely different team, and I am looking forward to it. Go ahead, Mikey.
Yeah, no, definitely. And touching on Larry Joe's, I came here to the chat room to check it out. He brings a good point. I know Larry Joe's a big Valentine and Zundu guy, kind of like Justin. So it'll be interesting where a guy like Nolan Narain fits, who's about 6'10", 6'11", and normally you expect that guy to play inside, but he's a good inside out guy, especially on the offensive end. And the fact that we're hearing Jalen McDaniels, who I've talked to a lot last year and a little bit this year, having such a great year, I just it's unbelievable how much this kid has improved. He's still really skinny. He needs to get thicker and bigger. But I mean,
come to my house.
Yeah. You know who he reminds me of, Mikey, a little bit, and I'm not saying the same skill set, but Brandon Ingram from Duke.
Right.
He's got the same build. As far as being just so skinny, but massive skills that just pay the bills and all that. But it's like he doesn't have any meat on him, and that's a concern because this is D1 college hoops. This isn't high school stuff anymore. So
it's crazy. I've heard more than one time someone say that they expect him to be an all-league player.
Wow,
really? Multiple year all-league players.
You hear it all over, but I mean, I just haven't seen him play yet, and that's the crazy part. But I can see it. The potential's there for Jalen McDaniels.
Yeah, and I've watched him play a bit, videos, and he's got a really great jumper. That's really what his game comes down to, is the jumper, and the dunks, the athleticism and the jumper. So that's really good, especially the turnaround game. His turnaround jumper is phenomenal.
Sure.
Slightly off topic, but still talking basketball and the Aztecs. How good is Kawhi Leonard, and how proud are you that he's an Aztec?
Oh my goodness, man!
Man! Did you see the one where he just ran up to about 15 feet and just drilled it right in front of I don't forget who the defender was. Iguodala.
Yeah.
And he put it right in his face, and I go, he's never had a jumper so much so much better than he's shooting right now. It's ridiculous.
I heard he worked a little bit with Kobe Bryant in the off season, and when they weren't out, I guess, raping chicks or whatever, they were practicing basketball. But what a transition that guy's made from kind of just this. I mean, he's still a quiet guy, but just a quiet guy who did whatever needed to be done on the team. Just was really good at defense, good at rebounding. He scored a little bit. He's like the guy now.
And it's not like they just beat some crappy team.
No.
They just beat not the world champs, but they were in the finals last year.
They smoked the Warriors.
But that's what I'm saying. And he had his career high on the opening night.
Yeah.
So obviously the ball runs through Kawhi Leonard, and what you notice about Kawhi, and I think this is what we all can be proud of as Aztec fans. We see the hustle on the defensive side still to this day. He does not let up any point in time. He takes that Steve Fisher approach where defense wins you championships, and he's modeled that into his NBA game. So it's really nice.
And he's a legitimate top 5 in the NBA. He's legitimate top 5.
Yeah,
definitely.
Mikey's talking Kawhi Leonard all the time. I see you tweet a lot of stuff about him.
Yeah, no, and again, we've talked about this before. Who'd have thought he was going to be a top 5 guy? I mean, we knew he was hardworking, but a lot of guys are hardworking in college.
Sure.
A lot of guys put in the work. I mean, I know these kids that are playing for the Aztecs right now are putting work this summer. I've seen them, putting in work. I've heard that they're putting in work, but, see them at the Drew League and stuff like that. But this guy really takes it to another level. And, I mean, it shows. I mean, if you want it, he's an example that if you work hard enough, you can achieve your goal. And, I mean, never in my wildest dream did I think this would be him. This would be him in the NBA, and he would be our guy. But, man, it's past all expectations, and a great ambassador for the school because
yes.
I don't know if you heard San Antonio broadcast, they always call him something, I think it's San Antonio Aztec or something like that. Like, they always mention the fact that he's an Aztec,
which is great for the school.
It's free. Yeah. It's free recruiting. It's right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Josh.
Well, that's basically what I was going to add. Mike, you kind of stole my thunder a little bit. How well Kawhi Leonard helps in the recruiting process for these Aztecs, moving forward. Steve Fisher can hang his hat on that. The fact that this is a guy that came through our system, that went through everything that we taught him how to be a professional, and look at what he's doing at the NBA level.
Right.
I agree completely. He's the perfect guy to be on that national stage for the Aztecs. What's great about the Aztecs right now is we have a lot of football stuff to talk about because their football team is good. We have a lot of basketball stuff to talk about because their basketball team is good. We have the premier Aztecs Hoops Nation website, Grandmaster, joining us to talk about that stuff. I want to invite, once again, everybody to join us Sunday morning, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We'll be doing the Chargers pregame show. Tons
Get your
of
Philip
fun.
Rivers hate here.
Yeah, Mikey. If Mikey's able to join us, he'll be bringing the anti-Philip Rivers into the show. Him and Hal. He'll be channeling Hal. But the show's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. It moves really quickly, and we hope you guys can join us. Until then, I think that's going to wrap things up for us tonight. I think we've did as much damage as we can. Mikey, Aztecs Hoops Nation, I noticed you've what kind of articles recently have you put out, and what do we have people have to look forward to?
I'm actually working on a preview article for the season. I'm actually been reaching out to a couple of my followers to get some thoughts. Recently. What did I do recently, man? I've been working on other sites, and the last article I put up was 5 underrated guards, under the radar guards that you need to look out for if you're an Aztec fan. So 5 guys in the 2018-2019 class you need to look out for, because if you look that far ahead, the point guard and shooting guard position are going to get very, very thin as soon as Trey Kell leaves, and when Hemsley and Devin Watson are seniors. So it's gonna be slim pickings soon. So there's some of these under the radar kids who don't have offers yet, could be blowing up, and you want to hear those names first so you can follow who they are.
That's what's awesome about Mikey is we're always just thinking about this season, and he's always talking. He comes on, he goes, "Yeah, we got this," and he's all these guys that I've never heard of, and then 2 or 3 years later, all of a sudden I go, "Shit, that's the guy that Mikey's been talking about," because he's always talking about the future and stuff. So check him out, Aztecs Hoops Nation. Mikey, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you coming in here. Somebody, we all have a love fest for Philip Rivers. Somebody's got to come in from the other side. So that's you got to come in and you got to set us straight, or at least give us a chance to tell somebody that they're being ridiculous.
No, definitely. I'm here for that. Yeah. Being ridiculous.
You carry the torch for Hal. Joshy, it's so nice to finally have you back on. I know that life is busy out there in Arizona.
We have the whole crew together, dude. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. This is that's right. This is the original when we had the 4 guys doing the show, and it's only us this time, which is kind of neat.
The
quartet.
I was thinking that the whole time we're doing this. I'm like, this is nice. This is like a throwback Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even think about that. So Josh, if you can stop dodging cacti out there, and you can get on and join us on a Sunday morning. That'd be awesome.
I just want to say too, guys, you guys are uglier than ever still. So
yeah,
thank you.
That's one of the great things about Skype.
Yeah,
just for you.
Thank you, buddy.
Awesome. Well, once again, guys, thanks a lot. We're going to wrap things up. Join us Sunday morning. Join us every Wednesday live, 7 o'clock till whenever we feel like we're finished. We are the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for the fans.
By the fans.
And we are out.
Thank you for listening to the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. Brought to you by Cali Comfort, home of the low and slow barbecue, and SK Digital Imaging with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eidsmoe, and Mike Maciejewski. Subscribe to us on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker, and on iTunes. Visit SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com for all your Chargers, Padres, and Aztecs news.